You know, when you watch someone just read, it can kind of look like magic, right? But I'm here to tell you, it's not magic at all. Reading is actually a code. It's a secret system that once you learn the rules, you can crack wide open. And today, yeah, we're going to crack it together. So I want you to think of yourself as a detective. The mystery we're solving today is the written word itself. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to learn the system, follow the clues, and unlock the meaning that's hidden on every single page. And that's really the heart of it. Every letter, every word you see, it's all part of this huge, intricate code. And just like in any good detective story, the very first step is just recognizing that you're looking at a mystery. These aren't just random marks, they're pieces of a system, and they're just waiting for us to figure them out. Okay, so that's the big question, isn't it? If it's a code, there's gotta be a key, right? Some kind of decoder ring that makes sense of it all. And you know what? Lucky for us, there is. It's something you've probably heard of before, but we're gonna look at it in a whole new way. This is it. This is our official decoder ring. Phonics. It's the key that unlocks written language. And it's all built on a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. The letters on a page are just symbols for the sounds we make when we talk. Once you really get that connection, you're not just guessing anymore, you're actually decoding. All right, every great detective needs their toolkit, and ours is going to be filled with some awesome gadgets for cracking this code. We've just got to master a few essential tools. Think of these as the fundamental clues that'll help us solve pretty much any word we run into. Let's start with the most basic clue of all, the phoneme. It's just a fancy word for the smallest single sound in a word. So take the word fish. It's not one sound, is it? It's three distinct phonemes, all blended together. F, I, sh. These are like the tiny atomic particles of our language. Now, you might be thinking there are countless sounds in English, but get this, there are only about 44. That's it. Every single word you can think of, from cat to photosynthesis, is built from this small, manageable set of sound clues. All of a sudden, our mission feels a whole lot more doable, right? Okay, so if a phoneme is the sound clue we hear, the grapheme is the symbol we see on the page. It's the letter, or sometimes a little group of letters, that stands for that single sound. So the sound t is the phoneme, the letter t is the grapheme. One is what you hear, the other is what you see. Simple as that. Now, sometimes letters team up, kind of like partners on a case. A diagraph is when two letters join forces to make one completely new sound. You know, S has its own sound, H has its sound, but put them together as SH and bam, you get a totally new phoneme. They're a real dynamic duo. But, and this is a key distinction, don't get digraphs mixed up with blends. With a digraph like sh, you only hear one new sound. But with a blend, like st in the word stop, you can still hear both of the original sounds, s and t, just kind of smushed together. It's the difference between hearing one sound versus two. That's the secret. All right, detective, our toolkit is packed. We've got phonemes, graphemes, digraphs. We're ready to go. But tools are pretty useless without a strategy, right? So now it's time to learn the rules of the investigation, the patterns that'll show us how to piece all these clues together to solve any word. The first rule every good detective learns is the CVC pattern. That stands for consonant, vowel, consonant. When you see this pattern, like in cat or big, that vowel smack dab in the middle almost always makes its short sound. So a as an apple, not a as an ape. Now sure, English has its tricky words and its rule breakers, but patterns like this, they're your most reliable clues out in the field. Okay, next up is a rule that involves a sneaky little undercover agent. It's a letter that doesn't make any sound itself, but it has a very, very important job to do. You might have even heard it called the magic E, and for good reason. So here's the mission for our silent E. When it shows up at the end of a word, its job is to jump over the consonant and tap that vowel on the shoulder, telling it to say its name. In other words, to make its long sound. So A says A, I says I, and so on. And here's that rule in action. Look at cap. That's our classic CVC word with the short A sound. But add that silent E to the end, and the A suddenly says its name, turning the word into cape. See that? That one silent letter completely changes the whole word. It's a total game changer. So, why does all this detective work even matter? Well, because when you master this code, you don't just become a reader. You get a genuine superpower. This is the payoff. This is the reward for cracking the case. For reading, the benefits are just enormous. Instead of freezing up when you see a new word, you can confidently decode it, piece by piece. This helps you build up a huge vocabulary of words you just recognize instantly, which makes your reading way faster and smoother. And here's the best part. When your brain isn't struggling with the words themselves, it's free to actually think about what they mean. And that is where the real magic happens. And get this, the superpower works both ways. When it's time to spell, you're not just trying to remember some long, random list of letters. You're basically decoding in reverse. You're thinking, okay, what sound am I making, and what's the code, the grapheme for that sound? Phonics turns spelling from a frustrating memory game into a logical puzzle you actually know how to solve. You know, cracking this code isn't really the end of the mystery. In fact, it's just the beginning. With these tools in your toolkit, you now have a key that unlocks an entire world. Your investigation into the adventure of words, well, it's a lifelong journey. And this really says it all, doesn't it? It's not just about sounding out words on a page. It's about empowerment. It's that aha moment when you realize that all the secrets hidden in every book, every sign, every story, they're now accessible to you. You are the one holding the key. So, I'll just leave you with this question. With this new code cracking skill in your hands, the possibilities are, well, they're endless. Every book is a new case to solve, and every page is a new set of clues. So, what new worlds, what amazing adventures are you going to unlock first? The investigation is all yours.